Merry Christmas. I'm Megan Dempsey and welcome to the very first edition of This Week. We'll be bringing you weekly updates on everything that's going on around you in your community. The news team is made up of journalism students from the University of South Australia. We'll be working in collaboration with 44 Adelaide to bring you some high quality news stories with an emphasis on everything local. Tonight we bring you a very special holiday edition of the show in the lead up to Christmas. So sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy it. For most Adelaideans, Christmas isn't all about presents, tinsel, and jolly fat men wearing red pyjamas. For most families, the 25th of December is just another tough day in a tough year. Liam Mannix has the story.
For most Australians, this is Christmas to a T. Decorations, bright fairy lights, and a little bit of consumerism. But this reality isn't for everyone. In amidst the excitement of the festive season, some communities are doing it a lot tougher. At the Hutt Street Centre in Adelaide, staff and volunteers care for South Australia's estimated 8,000 homeless.
You know, it's a big day for us, Christmas, because it's one time of the year where most of our client group don't have family or many support systems or social systems. So Hutt Street's a place where people can come and be, feel safe during the day and come and have a conversation to their mates and their colleagues and their people who they've been probably sleeping rough with if they're sleeping rough, and just a really great day. It's one of the best days of the year to work. A lot of our group obviously really isolated from the community, isolated from family, isolated from other support structures. A lot of people aren't working, a lot of people are struggling just to meet their daily existence and meet their daily needs. And so I think being part of a group is something that we all pine for.
For Ian, who works on the front line of our struggle against poverty, Christmas brings with it mixed emotions.
It's just a sort of a special place, special time of the year. It's very hard to actually describe. It's one of those things you sometimes feel like you have to bottle it a bit, but the day where everyone feels really gratified to be there. I think you also feel about just it's a bit about humankind as well. You see a lot of the fragility of life in our day-to-day work, but on Christmas Day it's a day where you actually feel part of the community and you feel part of the group as well. And I think it's one of those sort of places and one of those times of the year.
Brenda McCulloch, who will be serving meals on Christmas Day, says that a whole range of people call in at Hutt Street on Christmas.
On Christmas Eve, wherever they are, a lot of our clients will be feeling pretty down, a bit depressed. It's not all, happiness and bubbles. For a lot of our clients, it's an anxious time. They really feel the isolation of not being in touch with their families, and they'll be sleeping in the park, sleeping in cars. They might be lucky enough to be able to sleep on a couch or someone's floor and have a bit of company on Christmas Eve.
On Christmas Day, Hutt Street will serve more than 200 Christmas dinners to homeless South Australians.
The last few years, some generous persons brought in prawns to give out, so they might start off with a few prawns. They'll get the traditional roast turkey, pumpkin, peas, gravy, roast spuds.
An important part of Christmas lunch is creating a sense of community. For Adelaide's homeless, doing something as simple as eating a traditional Christmas dinner makes you feel like you're part of society again.
I think because it's one day of the year where people can feel like they're alive as well and feel part of the community. A lot of our group, they'll walk down Rundle Mall, they'll walk into the city, and you walk around the city and everyone's buying presents for everyone. And it's a real sort of joyous occasion. You hear people singing the carols and doing those things. For a lot of people coming into Hutt Street, they don't get that opportunity. So it's one day of the year they can sing a carol. If it doesn't always happen at Hutt Street, but it's one day they can feel really alive. It's one day they'll get a present as well. It's one day they'll say Merry Christmas to the staff and the vols and anyone else who's walking down the street. So again, a really interesting and sometimes special time for them as well, because they see those things happening. Especially the lead up to Christmas. It's a big lead up in probably all the capital cities, and now they feel part of it on the day.
Makes them feel like they're the same as everyone else. Not that they aren't, their circumstances are different, and they know each other. You know, they come here on a regular basis, and they've built up that friendship. So you know, they've gathered, and they're going to just have a bit of camaraderie and a bit of company, and try and go through a nice Christmas morning and a Christmas lunch.
On the surface, Christmas is a time of great mirth, but for many, there's great sadness as well. Down in Franklin Street, Lifeline offer telephone crisis support to anyone who needs it. They take calls from people dealing with loneliness, depression and domestic violence, just to name a few. And the calls come thick and fast on Christmas. On Christmas, Lifeline will get calls from people who are lonely, have lost a loved one, or had a recent separation or divorce. Counsellors here say that for many people, Christmas causes or is linked to many different pressures and problems, including domestic violence.
There's a whole range of people that experience domestic violence in their lives, and during Christmas sometimes, because of the environment, festive season, lots of people drinking, families together who normally may not get together, that can mean that people become a little bit more aggressive, and that domestic violence can become more heightened, meaning that women can find themselves in an unsafe situation with their children. Because it's Christmas, any kind of public holiday or weekend or evening is very busy for us, and the reason why it's so busy is because there's absolutely no other services open during that time other than other emergency services. So it's a time where people sometimes don't reach out because they're worried about they don't want to bother people at Christmas.
Telephone counsellor Heather Maynard has volunteered at Lifeline for 20 years and will be taking calls on Christmas Day.
A lot of people are very lonely, and they may call in just to hear a human voice, and they'll often admit that I'm just ringing in to wish you a happy Christmas because I've got no one else to say happy Christmas to. Also the pressures of Christmas, some people find it hard to cope. But we also do get callers who ring in and say things like, I'm just ringing in to say thank you because if Lifeline wasn't here during the year, I wouldn't be here today.
They say Christmas is all about giving. That's never more true than at the Salvation Army. Every Christmas, they give struggling parents toys, letting them make Christmas special for their kids.
This Christmas, we're hoping to be able to put some smiles back onto people's faces, families' faces and children's faces. By doing this with our toys, giving out the Christmas cheer with our toys. We have 2 days where we distribute the toys. They come in and choose 3 toys for each child, and go around, and we've got books, we've got teddies, and makeup, whatever we need for the children. We're giving out over 1,000 toys, and we've probably got in around 1,200, 1,300 toys. I think that these sort of families that would not normally have presents, it's nice to be able to put smiles on their faces, and it's nice to know that there's other people out there that love them, and that they are loved by other people.
Just like at Hutt Street, at the Salvos, the focus is all on giving struggling families the same traditional Christmas experience that other parts of our community take for granted.
I think one of the things that makes Christmas so important, it is about that dignity element. It's the fact that when people who are disadvantaged and marginalised within our community look around them, they see others giving and being able to receive. And so we want to bring something of that normality.
Here, at the Salvation Army Centre, and at places all across Adelaide, there's an incredible spirit of goodwill and generosity being shown by Adelaideans. From donating goods and services, such as this incredible donation of toys, to volunteering right up on Christmas Day itself.
Our presents, our gifts come from the Kmart Wishing Tree, which is the toys, but our food hampers are donated through schools, kindies, which have been absolutely fantastic this year.
Generosity certainly blows us away. I mean, I think it's one thing we undervalue and undersell ourselves in South Australia, that we're a really generous community.
At Hutt Street and at the Salvos and Lifeline, nearly everybody is a volunteer. So why do they do it?
Hutt Street is a fantastic place. I can't put into words the spirit of the place. Myself personally, I work with 15, 16 different volunteers every day of the week, Monday to Friday. They set the benchmark.
At the end of the day, you can reflect back and feel that being here was really worthwhile.
I just think it's an amazing organisation in that, you know, it's the community doing work for the community, which I think is just lovely, and that, you know, people are so giving and kind and want to do so much to help others. And the other side of it is the people on the phones. You know, you realise that there are people that have really hard times in life, and it's just lovely to see them come through out the other side.
We couldn't do this without our volunteers, and it's the love that they give in this giving time as well that I appreciate.
Hutt Street, Lifeline and the Salvation Army are all charities with limited resources taking on a huge task. Each organisation's success is entirely dependent on donations from the public.
We're not averse to probably receiving anything. So we get lots of food donations, we get lots of clothing, we get things like, you know, crockery and cutlery, we get lots of towels and soaps and shampoos. They're really important as well because they're the things that we need in our everyday life.
We're needing food. For food hampers, we have people coming in off the streets every day looking for food. If there's toys, that as you can see, we'll be giving out toys. And if there's any money donations that we can actually put towards by buying vouchers for the family, if they need more things than the food that we can supply, there's a great need out there.
Liam Mannix reporting.
Coming up after the break, we find out why Christmas isn't the only thing to celebrate in December.